There's a page called Launching from a Reach.
Mm-hmm.
You could explain it to me. I know you know. I know you're nodding along in order to be just generally agreeable with my lack of knowledge.
Yo ho ho, it's time for the Bodie Show. Living on the water is the only life we know. Yo ho ho ho, it's time for the Bodie Show.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Jeff.
Welcome to the Bodie Show, everybody. Here we are. It's still January. It's January. Today's the Tuesday the 28th.
28th. We're getting there.
Tuesday the 28th. It's getting lighter. Day's getting a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's feeling good.
And where are we? I'm in my living room. You're in your living room.
Mm-hmm.
We're
in our winter corners.
Winter corners. You've just coined a new hashtag.
I did.
Nordic so hard.
I'm trying to Nordic. You know how the Nordic people like do a good job at winter and they're happy? So I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do a good job at winter and be happy.
They even make up awesome words for it. Do you know what it is?
The huga, the hygge, huga. You think it's pronounced
Hygge, huga.
Yeah, we know what we're saying. The HYGGE or whatever, right?
Hygge.
Yeah, it looks like hygge. Yes, the huga or the hygge, whatever. But yes, I know the word, and that is exactly what I'm trying to achieve here in this moment. I'm Nordicing so hard.
My friend Sarah came back from a semester in, I don't know if she was in a Scandinavian country in the winter, and she came back. She's like, "You guys, they do this thing there. They call it hugli." And it's amazing. They light candles and they snuggle under blankets with each other, and they have hot drinks and keep each other warm. And she like elaborated on what that meant a little bit. This was back in college, and it's amazing. Like, we should do that. Yeah.
And you're like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I was all in. It was a great conversation. I've got some great stories about Sarah that aren't at all Bodie.
I've heard some of them. They're all great.
Yeah.
I would like to meet her someday.
Yeah, she would like to meet you. So we got a lot to cover today, so we're going to get right into it. I have not researched the Jones Act.
I have not either.
So that will stay on the old business list.
Okay.
All right. I was gonna, like, while we were prepping for the show, and I'm like making notes in my new little Bodie show prep notebook from River Hospital.
Oh, the white one?
Yep, appropriately.
Fancy.
Yep. I wrote down Jones Act, and I was going to try and like quickly look it up, but I didn't. You were not satisfied with the feet of boat overall metric. You did not consider it to be an actual metric. You thought it was just a number, and that you wanted a ratio.
Yeah, I was looking for a denominator because I just thought it would make it a little bit more interesting.
Miles per hour.
Right, like, compared to what? Like, just like having a bunch of boat feet length that just seemed sort of arbitrary without some other metric.
And we both arrived at kind of at the same time.
Separately, we arrived at the exact same conclusion, which is...
No, you tell me.
Per year. We decided it should be...
FOBOA.
FOBOA, which is...
Feet of boat overall.
Feet of boat overall per year.
Of...
Age, right? How old you are.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because I think this came from the conversation about whether or not this was like your lifetime FOBOA.
True. Lifetime FOBOA
should definitely be divided by age.
Oh, yeah. Lifetime FOBOA. Yeah, right. Lifetime FOBOA.
And then that got me thinking about like, so for like my kids who are young, so their denominator would be smaller than ours, right?
Yeah, yep.
They like, so would we count like their first boats? Like, I mean, the answer is yes, obviously, but like your kid, like,
yeah,
but your kids drove like Toby drove the Muskie or the Getter or the whatever, like the little.
No, they had the little rowboat, the Isabella Lou.
The Isabella Lou was first, right?
Yeah.
Right, and our kids had that little green boat, and they had a paddle boat. Like, it gets interesting when you think about like right from the get go.
Yep.
Like, I wonder when your ratio is maximized is what it makes me wonder.
You could actually create some tables of data and investigate this.
I mean, I'm inspired by Brian Danforth and his spreadsheets.
Yeah, right. And he told me, he's like, "Oh, damn, I sent you the one that didn't even have the like extra columns." And I was very, very impressed and excited to see at some point the spreadsheet with even more columns about different props doing different things on different boats. Because he repropped all the boats in in that spreadsheet, and there was only one that had a old prop, new prop columns.
Right. So, well, I think it's good that we had the maybe abbreviated version so that, we were able to wrap our heads around it momentarily.
Right.
And I think that for next time, you and I, our homework for next time should be, we should do lifetime Faboa over age for our children.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we got to play around with this and just look at what it turns out to be. And is it meaningful, or do we need to, apply a logarithmic scale to it by age?
Say more.
Because I think it should. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a little. We'll do a little research. And by we, I mean you. You seem to be interested in this.
Does it count if they don't own them? They just drive them?
I mean, did they feel a sense of pride and
there it is,
investment in the boat? Did we talk about it like, oh, that's your rowboat? We sure did. Did we talk about the fact that that Mary Jane and Toby helped me build the little rowboat? Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got it. We'll work on that for next time. What's next?
Other old business. We were together, and Missy went down to the boathouse and deflated all the floaties that were in the boathouse off inflated under threat of
duress.
No, not duress. Missy was not under duress or threat. The floaties might get. They would. She heard me, and she knew that I was gonna probably get a bee in my bonnet and go down there with a big wicked kitchen knife and stab them all.
I would say that if you are the only one in this whole community that's surprised that happened, because the level of fervor that you brought to the table with the knives and the shotguns was quite. I'm not surprised. It was quite motivating for her, but I'm glad that I feel like this is a real happy ending story.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I don't have to go stab them. I don't want
to stab them.
I don't want to stab them.
They got blown down.
Blown down. Right. Blown up, blown down. Other old business. We got an email from a listener, from Tom. Mm-hmm. Dear Bodhi Show hosts, first of all, I love the show and I love each of you, which is very nice. Second, in your most recent episode, you spoke about all of the fun things on the container ship: rum, hot tubs, salt, limes, tequila. Mr. Pennington also used the word sauna. We know that you are boat experts, but I am guessing you also want to be sauna experts. If so, I can help. I thought you might be interested to know that the word sauna is the only word transliterated from Finnish into English. Because it's a Finnish word, it is not pronounced sauna. Saw, like chainsaw, na. The correct pronunciation is sauna. First syllable like a pig, sauna. I'm going to pay Cecil Curran to build a sauna at our cottage. And when it is finished, I hope the hosts of the Bodhi Show will be the first to have sauna. With love, the most amazing Tom.
You should tell the listeners that he's also married to...
No. We can't tell them too much about him. We can't.
Okay.
Oh, he's also married. He's married to Thomas.
Someone else named Tom, which is why he's the best Tom. So that, first of all, that's the best invitation I think we've gotten so far.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I want to go to Round Island and sauna.
Sauna, yeah.
Sauna.
So that's our old business. And because I liked it so much last week, we're going to do it again.
It's the boat of the week, stable and sleek. Check out that vessel, baby, isn't she sweet? It's the boat of the week, the boat of the week. Ooh, how I love me the boat of the week. La da 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 da. Hey, yeah, let's check out the boat of the week.
So you liked having it a little on the front-loaded side. Is that what I'm hearing?
I did. I felt that 18 minutes of laughing about your curling afro was a turning point for us. and I think that there are people who may listen to this show more for the Bodhi content than for the just like the goofing around mayhem. And so I thought we'd give those people some Bodhi content early in the episode. And
I think it is a good idea to like put a little, like, to, keep a little structure, a little organization. I love it. Let's go.
All right. So we're going to lead off with what you have deemed the Admiral's choice of the week for the boat of the week. Right, Admiral's choice. The Admiral you are the Admiral.
Okay. I would like to look at it, but I can't touch my phone, so.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm doing it. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
It's so hot.
Now tell us about it.
Well, I can't find it yet. I mean, that would be hard. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Can I? Well, I've got this. Oh, I see. He sent me. Ooh! Here it is.
Talk to me. Oh, you're making a face like a yeah face. That's what you're making. Yeah.
It's so
I don't know
beautiful.
why I'm starting to like channel you as Mr. T right now.
It's so amazing. Look at it. I love it so much. It's blue. Okay. It's blue and white. It's a Mastercraft, which means it's an inboard. It has a stripe down the middle of the bow, which is blue. The rest of it's white. And it has white stars that go down the middle of the blue stripe.
So what is a Mastercraft? What is it?
It's a ski boat.
Right. And ski boats were big in the
70s.
And
I love them because they're very 70s and very hot and very much my style. And flat bottom, they ride like hell, and we don't care because that's how hot they are.
I'd say 75 to 85 was peak ski boat.
Peak ski boat moment. The upholstery is amazing. The other thing we love.
Why is it amazing?
I mean, it's like all coordinated and it's all soft and squishy in there. And
what color is it?
It's blue and white, just like the rest of the Mastercraft.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a seat that faces backwards, which we talked about this before. It's amazing because it makes for a more enjoyable cruising experience. Like it's a little more living room, but it's also very functional because you need to have your spotter looking backwards and watching the skier. And that just
and your spotter can also more easily look at your spotter while you're driving because they're kind of
you just turn and look at your spotter and they're like right next to you but facing backwards.
Yeah, lounging
in their comfortable blue and white like Mastercraft. It's just lovely.
Your spotter has to angle their head approximately 22 degrees, and you have to angle your head approximately 22 degrees in order to make eye contact.
Oh my God!
And have a conversation.
So we should take a picture of this and post it for the listeners.
So this was a listing from Doc Deals, I believe, on Instagram. Okay. If you have not yet subscribed to Doc Deals, DOCK Deals DEALS Doc Deals on Instagram, you should because. This is a gentleman in the upper Midwest who has like a lock on surfing all the places where boats get listed and curating and posting deals. And now that doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap, but it's a good value based on his aesthetic knowledge and interest. And they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. But they're almost all interesting to me.
Right.
Like I love everything he puts up there, even if it's not something I'm really going to get for myself.
Right.
I think he's got great taste.
He's doing God's work.
Doing God's work.
So thank you, Doc Deals, for ministering to us via the surfing of the boat listings and the posting of the boat listings.
Now, when you sent this, you sent it to both Jay Nash and myself.
Yeah.
Because Jay Nash has become he's like had a water skiing revolution in his late 40s, early 50s. Or I don't know how old he is. Wait, sorry. Strike that.
No, I'm leaving that in.
He's definitely not 50.
He's not even in his late 40s.
He's definitely not 50.
He's like 45, but which is mid 40s.
He skis like a 20-year-old, and hopefully that will make him forgive me for saying that. But
he does. He rips on a slalom ski.
He's really into the skiing. So, and you and I skied once in the last 30 years. So you and I are obviously interested in this boat as well. but Jay would actually use it.
He would. And I aspire someday to marry, to like arrange the sort of procurement and delivery into Jay's life of a sweet, like circa 1980-ish Mastercraft ski boat.
We often talk about the idea of the boat stable and how we wish that we could share multiple different functional boats with multiple other people in our lives, and this would be right high up on my list of things to share.
This would go in the boat stable, in the boat pool. So we would
boat pool, yeah.
We would organize a syndicate. I like using that word a lot. A syndicate that would be invested in the life sense, not in the monetary sense. Would be invested in, a collection of boats that we would all be able to share in, because you don't need a sweet flat bottom Mastercraft ski boat all the time. Mm-mm. But sometimes you want to have access to one.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's the Admiral's choice. So that's a good one. Next up, let's see. I'll pull it up. We got a oddball boat of the week submission from Ken. It is so it was an Instagram post. This is what happens when winter goes south. Airboat conversion with a headlight gives new meaning to the term snowbird. What the heck is this music? There we go. All right. So there's a dude who looks like Rasputin from
Yeah, he does.
and he's sitting on something. It's like a big monoski. This is basically an airboat, a monoski airboat. There's a internal combustion engine down low in the back. A big chain runs up to an airplane propeller. There's a freaky, like, I don't know what it is, some kind of rudder situation with that in the back, and then right behind the airplane propeller. Mm-hmm. And then you go forward, and then it's Rasputin sitting there. He's got his big old mustache and like some sort of tunic situation and a fur hat and a giant steering wheel. But then there's this like riveted fairing in front of the steering wheel, like a cone shape that goes down to the monoski. By monoski, I mean it's just like one big ski.
It looks like it's like a hefty version of a one big ski. Yeah.
Right. And then that, you go up to the front, and there's some rivets all over this thing. It looks a little like Buck Rogers' fever dream on the ice planet kind of situation from the old timey Buck Rogers. And then there's a big headlight on the front of this thing. And
what is the light? Can you help me understand if you do?
My guess is that this monoski airboat ski boat thingy, this like bad idea jeans, it was in the like somewhere way north of the very like northern latitude, and so when there's snow, it's dark, so you need a big headlight in the front.
I'm reading the comments.
Wait. All right, tell me more. What are you reading? What do you see?
Gunther's rivet and sheet metal fab project got a bit out of hand. This is clearly what actor John Aston was up to after the Addams Family wrapped up. The person writes, seems perfectly safe.
Right. And the response to that one is, you're just saying that because you saw the headlight.
Exactly.
You are a big fan of comments in these things.
I am. I mean, you never know. Sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're not. But
those are some good ones.
But often the comments are better than the posts.
Yeah. It's it's like one of those moments where you're like, I love social media, right? Because it allows people to have those little bits of expression in their lives. Well,
and it really lets this creativity shine out of nowhere.
Yeah.
like I'm going to send you a really funny one I saw earlier. Like, it's just the comments are just amazing.
Can you talk about it now or no?
It's really hard to explain. But I don't know if we're back live or not, but
we're back on.
We're
back on.
That what I like about this, I like a lot of things about this, but what I really like about it is that it looks like dude is just sitting on an elephant trunk.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like if there was a giant robot elephant and it had its trunk cut off and turned into an airboat.
But the elephant's not there. Just so everyone understands just how small this is. It's just an elephant trunk with a little box, and like you called it a fairing, which I just would like to put a pin in the fact that that's a new word for me. But thank you. I understand what it means. I think it's a flaring out of the structure to sort of create, a pocket of windlessness in a perfect world.
Oh my God, that was fantastic. How you just described fairing, a pocket of windlessness. Jesus.
Rasputin could, in a perfect world, be somewhat shielded from the elements. Everyone should know that he's not. He's not shielded. He is in direct line of fire of that propeller. Like, don't move, buddy. Don't turn around. Don't. Like, you do not want a spotter in this boat. That's for sure.
Nope.
You don't want anyone.
Well, we've discussed
other direction.
We've discussed air-powered, whatever, like airplane propeller-powered ice boats in the past. And you look at them, you're like, oh, it must be great. But like,
not great.
No, not great. If you're not like in some sort of cabin, and there are very few of those boats that actually have cabins, that airplane propeller is sucking ice chips past you.
so true. There's the misery of utilizing one of those boats cannot be overstated.
No, it's god awful loud.
But this one looks so much worse
Yeah.
because you're. I mean, yes, you have a light. But that's its only redeeming quality. Like everything else, like there's no cage around this propeller. It's just an enormous spinning propeller, and it's literally elephant trunk wide.
Yeah, you're going over. You're going over on the side pretty quick.
So this one gets really high points for like innovation, which is your thing. You love that.
You're pinning this on me.
You love that. You love when like someone's doing something new and different.
Oh yeah.
I'm not I'm not sure what other categories this one's winning for. I cannot in any part of my brain find an element that thinks is hot. So it's not hot. It's not safe. It is innovative, and it looks like an elephant trunk, which is obviously a good thing.
Nicely wrapped up. Wrapped up. Thank you, Ken, for the submission. All right. Next, a degree of innovation. So from Brooklyn Boatyard, which has a special place in my heart, we're going to talk about a boat called Rip Snorter. Rip Snorter.
Great name.
Yep. So
I'm getting into it right now.
this is a lobster boat that was built to be a racer. Okay.
Can you say more about that? Is it racing lobsters or? I'm just curious why it is both lobstery and also trying to be fast. Why?
Because in every area of humanity, as soon as you have two people, typically dudes, but not always,
Sure.
in crafts, vehicles, right, that move, you end up racing.
Okay.
So lobstermen end up racing their lobster boats.
I mean, I'm very willing to be enthusiastic and supportive of the direction in which you're going and the Rip Snorter in general. But I have a question. Aren't lobster boats just generally kind of made to be slow?
Well, that's the fun part.
Okay, please say more. I am prepared to learn more.
I'm going to read from the listing that John Maxwell
Please do.
sent us. Okay, this boat has some cool backstory, and John and I've been meaning to talk. We didn't get a chance to before this, so we'll probably talk about Rip Snorter a little bit more next week or the week after. So Rip Snorter in 2023, former Brooklyn Boatyard president Steve White purchased an unfinished lobster boat hull and deck from D&L Boatworks of Lewiston, Maine, who have the reputation of designing and building some of the fastest racing lobster boats on the coast. I got to work on my like phrasing. Racing lobster boats. No, racing lobster boats. Not racing lobsters. It's not like you got two lobsters like with goggles like racing.
It's very hard not to be picturing that, but I'm with you so far. Go ahead.
Racing lobster boats on the coast. Over the course of 2023 and the spring of 24, the crew here at Brooklyn Boatyard installed a high-performance 8-cylinder gas engine, designed and built a new pilot house to protect her crew against the weather and spray, installed all the necessary systems at the very last minute, painted her out with her distinctive and eye-catching gray, white, and international orange color scheme. She does look hot with that orange silence. And
That's
gave her
true.
the terrific name of Rip Snorter. After some quick sea trials, Rip Snorter set off to do what she was made to do and compete in the lobster boat races here on the coast of Maine, with her first race being right close by in the Deer Isle Thoroughfare off Stonington, Maine. The Stonington races took place on July 15th, 2024, and with Brooklyn Boatyard Chief Operating Officer Nick Carter at the helm, Rip Snorter came in first in her race. Gasoline Class B V8 up to 375 cubic inches, 24 feet and up. Rip Snorter is now offered for sale, and while we hope her next owners will continue to race her on occasion, we also hope they will use her for all kinds of adventures here on the coast and have as much fun with her as we have had building her. Right. So this is like a beautiful down east lobster boat that was built to kind of be a lobster boat, but kind of also by this company D&L to be a racer. And
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what?
Can you tell me everything you know about lobster boat races?
I don't know a lot. What I know is that lobstermen going out, pulling pots, coming back would race each other, probably because they wanted to just race, because that's what you do when you're driving next to each other.
I'll be honest. What I really want to know is whether there is some sort of suggestion of pot pulling or something, or at least out and backing.
Oh, during the race.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like all going into the origins of lobster boat racing, which I don't really know, but I'm gonna like throw some theories out there.
All of that is good too. But do you see, I'm dying to know whether there is, and what I'm thinking of right now is some of that, like, how people are always sending us and they should, the race docking.
Yeah, so that's a big deal down in the Chesapeake. So you take, it's basically crab boats doing like speed docking competition.
Yeah.
Where they come
in my head, I'm wondering, is there like a component of like, do you have to get out there, do something that seems like pot pulling, and then get back? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
And that's okay. That's all right. I bet John Maxwell knows, and he'll tell us.
Yeah.
I also want to say that I do love the color scheme an awful lot, and I also love the name.
Yeah. So it's a pilot house a Down East pilot house boat that is like, if you look at it just side on, it looks kind of normal, and then you look a little closer, and there's a big copper or brass exhaust pipe that sticks up through the cabin in the front, up the windshield in the middle.
I see it.
It's called a dry stack, and a lot of lobster boats have those. It puts the exhaust up above the boat. The noise is outside of the boat, and it's cheaper than a wet exhaust. But the deck, the top of this thing is painted this really cool orange. Like, it's not quite a safety orange. It's got a little bit more deep color in that than that.
I mean, it's almost red.
Yeah, right.
It's quite a lobstery color, I must say.
Right. And I'll just say, looking at the propulsion and fuel systems, it's a 2007 Mercruiser 8-cylinder, 6.2-liter, 350 horsepower, freshwater cooled gas engine. So it's got a radiator and a heat exchanger, which is good. It is engine hours less than 200, 1.25-inch stainless steel prop shaft, working propeller, 4-blade high torque MYT4 18x24. Racing propeller, 3-blade Dynajet 18x21 with number 5 cup, bronze. It has 110-gallon aluminum fuel tank under the aft deck, primary and secondary fuel filters, so that engine gets a nice clean gas. It's got really pretty tumble home. Man, I was
going to say, it's got a little tumble home there in the back.
Yeah, right. It's a beautiful little boat. Super fun. And there's some pictures, if you keep scrolling down, there's a picture of it kind of flying along, like way up on plane for a Down East hull.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
I love that you don't see any of the orange from the side or the front.
Yeah. Like just kind of the railings. Boat. I saw this thing on the water, John, when I visited Brooklyn Boatyard. He took us out for a harbor tour, and we went past this. I didn't notice the orange from the water.
I can see why.
Yeah. So I'll try and post some of this stuff on the Instagram, Facebook, but there's also video of this on the Boaty Show YouTube page, YouTube channel. That harbor tour that I did, we went past this, and John told a little bit of the story about it.
Nice.
Yeah. What I know is that Brooklyn Boatyard finished this boat out for their own purposes, and they are selling it. And so it's a pretty cool story. And this is the kind of thing where like they were all in on this, having fun with the project, and they definitely want to see it they'd love to see it go to a fun, good home. Like they said, like, we hope somebody races it, but also has a bunch of other fun in it. Okay, those are our 3 boats. Mastercraft?
Yes.
Elephant Trunk, bad idea, Rasputin monoski airboat thing, and Rip Snorter. They're very different. They're all very different.
I have no idea how to choose between the Rip Snorter and the Mastercraft. They're both right in my wheelhouse.
Well, what about the Rasputin monoski?
That one has been very easy for me to dismiss.
Okay. But it could win it, because that's the first time we've ever had anything like that.
Are you going to make a new category for it?
It could have its own category, but I'm picking up from you that you dislike it so much that you don't even want it to win its own category. You don't even want hippie rules.
You know me. I want everyone to win.
Even Ken for
even Elephant Trunk. Yes, for as long as I don't have to drive it. I would love to have it win the boat that I don't want award.
This would be the inaugural use of that award. I don't think there's a single boat that you haven't wanted in any of all this stuff. You even wanted.
We found Ken Larson found the boat I don't want. I don't want that boat.
Oh my God!
I know,
ladies and gentlemen, that's a big deal.
It's the Not My Boat of the Week.
It's the Not My Boat of the Week winner, the Rasputin Elephant Trunk Monoski airboat is the first, potentially only for the rest of the time, boat that Stephanie has encountered that she doesn't want in some way, shape, or form.
It's true.
Wow.
I don't want it. But the other two I do want. So I don't know how to handle that. Because I really want the Mastercraft. I feel like, but I also really want the Racing Lobster boat.
Yeah, you love a down east boat. And
I love a down east hull.
You love
and a fast one?
And you love going fast.
Dude.
This is a down east speedboat.
Stop talking about it. It's already so amazing.
It's got that sweet, sweet orange color, but
I
it's
don't
like
see a swim ladder.
how easy would it be to
that
put a swim
could be
ladder
its
on
downfall. Also, it's made of wood. I have no right
You don't
to
know
have
that.
anything made of wood.
You don't know that. Let's see. I'm going to go look. I don't even know what it's made of.
You told me it was made of wood.
Well, that's
Did
what
you
I
make
thought.
That up earlier?
Yeah, that's what I do. Let's see. What's that hull construction?
Do you lie?
I don't lie. I provide quick answers.
I provide quick answers.
Cold molded wood epoxy construction. Hull is 3 layers of mahogany plywood with e-glass exterior skin and painted surface.
Could you translate that into something with one syllable or two?
Modern wood.
It's wood.
However, it's cold molded wood epoxy construction, which makes it it makes it effectively a fiberglass boat. But instead of glass, it has wood fibers. So these things have proven to be bomb-proof over decades.
I'm not going to be all like digging out like freaking like screw covers and shit, like whatever Jay was talking about with his thing that he does.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes it harder, not easier.
Uh-huh.
I would say the swim platform on the Mastercraft was delightful.
Yeah. However, this thing would look hot with like a rounded swim platform on the back.
It would. Okay. Point number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It is not ready to carry my friends.
Oh, just like your current down east boat.
No, mine is.
You threw a bunch of chairs in it.
That's what I mean, but that's fine. You're right. I could just throw some chairs in
You could take the chairs out of your current down east boat and throw them in that one.
Okay. Point taken.
Okay.
I'm just saying the Mastercraft is winning on the interior upholstery column. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jeff? Let's hear from you.
I am trying to moderate my, I get bored really quickly with boats that I've seen before. And I'm like, okay, fine. I love this Racing Lobster boat. It's a down east. It's a sweet, sweet, hot tumble home, sheer, beautiful, like spray rails, all of it.
Yep. Okay.
Really clean down east boat with just a nice functional pilot house and then like a friggin' 6.2 liter small block that makes this thing haul butt, not just pots but also butt.
Okay. I would drive that thing fast all over the place.
And the orange.
Yes, orange is hot. And I love the unexpected curves, and that's where the wood comes in.
Yeah.
There's a nice little curve to the back of like where the transom is and up and down over the transom, which is just, it's so subtle, but you just wouldn't expect it from something so utilitarian, you know?
Yep.
I think that comfort is an issue. But since you and I are going to design some amazing boat chairs, and
boat chairs
that will no longer be an issue.
Boat chairs that don't suck.
Also, I'm not wild about the dry stack. Is that what I'm saying it right?
Yeah, look at you using that word.
I know, I use it right on me. The dry stack is, I feel like it's like speaking a certain sort of like tugboat language. You know what?
It's well executed in brass or bronze or copper.
Yeah.
And it will sound that dry stack in all certainty would make Missy go all a quiver, which is not your goal, although you are amused by that. Right? So you could sneak up behind her while she's like sitting on a dock somewhere, and then you just like rev it, and you'd see her be like, "Blah!"
I would be much more entertained by how excited you are by her reaction than her own reaction. Like it's very entertaining to me how much you love it.
It's so good.
Is there a cabin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know where the motor is.
It's mostly full. The cabin is mostly full of motor.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So you were sort of lying to me a little bit.
How was I lying to you?
Is there a cabin? Yes, and it's also full of motor. It's just a cabin you can't get into.
John sent in the email. John sent a picture of the cabin, which I'm looking at, and it's motor and like some life jackets and looks like a box of like oil filters.
Yeah. We're going to call that no cabin. That's okay. I mean, there's no cabin in the Mastercraft either.
No.
But I do love it looks like it has a cabin from the outside. It has a cute little, little oval-ish sort of windowy thing in there, little porthole-y thing.
Yeah, there you got there. You called it a porthole.
Yeah, I know. I just had to stall there for a second. I love, how long is it? Tell me again. I'm going to guess 24.
It's in the 24 feet and up class, and it is 25 feet.
It's hot.
All right.
I think it deserves to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rip Snorter, the racing lobster boat, is your boat of the week.
It's the boat of the week, stable or sleek. Check out their...
And somebody we know should buy that thing.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Maybe we should send it to Rick Casale. Maybe he'll buy it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to send it to him right now.
Yeah. Or he knows somebody local to us. Because I want to see that thing tear-assing around the river. That would be great.
I kind of want it, though. This is a problem with Boat of the Week.
Maybe.
It really is.
I'm gonna end up with a Bertram Baron 28, and you're gonna end up with a Rip Snorter racing lobster boat. And
I would have zero regrets, except I would have zero regrets from buying that boat.
No, you would.
Zero.
You would love it. You would love it. Yeah.
I would use it. I would use it. We would do great together. The Rip Snorter and I. Okay, what's next? I'm trying to keep us focused. Can you tell?
Really? Nice job.
Yeah.
I have noted here, this week in curling.
Oh. This week in curling. I'm not quite sure I have any real updates.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I was worse.
No.
I'm a worse curler than I was before. And also there was that, did I send you the picture of the sign?
They sharpen the stones?
Ring?
What?
They
I don't know.
Sharpen.
I'm so confused.
I know.
Usually you're confused. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm so confused. How do you sharpen a stone?
I have no idea, but when I say this is why I curl, I really mean it. I love being confused. Like, I was thoroughly confused by this sign. Like, we went to walk out on the ice, big yellow sign, and it said, "Attention curlers, the stones have all been sharpened. Expect additional curl."
Wow. Okay. This week in curling.
From the ice committee.
Could you ask?
So there's 7 things in there that nobody understands. Like, maybe somebody who's listening understands them, but I sure as hell don't. Like, what the they're definitely round. I don't know how to sharpen them. I don't know why there's additional curl. I'm really I can tell you, I don't know. The whole thing was very confusing, but I'm very grateful to the ice committee for letting me know. Do
you have any interest in serving on the ice committee?
I do in theory, although I think I may have committed the maximum amount of time from my life to curling already that I can manage. I don't know if I have time. I have to retire before I may have to retire before I can really help the ice committee. But yes, I am interested. Yes.
So we'd love to hear from any of our Canadian listeners, of which we have some. Thank you very much for listening, Canadians. We would love to hear if you know anything about curling, like stone sharpening, and how sharpening a stone gives you extra curl, and it would be wonderful. So if you email us anything you can tell us about curling, theboatyshow@gmail.com, theboatyshow@gmail.com. That'd be helpful. And again, still looking for somebody to make my life easier and give us a quick down low on the Jones Act. I know. Sam, are you listening? Either Sam that I know, who I'm sure know what the Jones Act is. You white, come on, just help a podcast host out. Don't make me Wikipedia that.
Don't make me go look at myself. I'm sure they're assuming that you've already looked by the time that they are listening, but they'd be wrong. Yeah. But I do. Yes, I would say. The other thing that I love, this is the thing about the extra curl on the sharpened stones, is that if you're not careful with curling, then you end up in the world of actually trying to figure out the physics of how it works. Oh. So the idea that, first of all, sharpening stones is confusing when they're round. Second of all, The idea that you're going to get additional curl out of this now sharpened stone is really confusing, right? Because then immediately you start thinking, well, wait, well, what makes it curl to begin with? And
Wait.
once you start asking that question, it gets real. Shit gets crazy.
Are you deliberately like preventing yourself from engaging on any sort of intellectual basis with curling?
It's a really good question. The answer is no. However, here's what I am doing. I am preserving the part of my brain that has the A plus B equals C component that actually knows what to do. Like, I now am at a point where I have, like, there's 17 things to think about when you're delivering your rock. And I now finally have it so that I know which direction to turn it, because based on what the skip is doing with his hands and all of that, and also slide and also not fall over and also push it hard enough. So I really can't I can't add any more information. Like, my brain is full. So I have to like let it just sit there at that level. And I'm worried that if I start learning about what's actually happening, it's going to ruin the basic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't want to be thinking about the physics while you're doing the physics.
Right. I'm concerned that I could screw up the magic balance that I have.
And like pop a circuit breaker in your curling brain or something?
Pretty much, yes. Yes. I mean, that's really the way to put it. Yes. Like,
But hey, what's wrong with Steph? She thought about the physics and blew a gasket.
But more importantly, what if I start thinking about the
Why is
sharp
Steph's
rock?
hair?
That's why my hair is so big.
That's why your hair is so big. It's like some sort of like Einstein.
If we go down that rabbit hole, you're the only one to blame.
Yep, you're right. I'm going to behave.
Do you know what I mean, though? If you know too much in that moment, then you just like there's a fine balance. Like, I need, like, and I love asking all the questions and knowing all the things. Yeah. But I can't do that because I know it's going to somehow, my in-turn is going to turn into an out-turn, because I'm going to be like, wait, because of if I turn it this way, then that's going to mean that it's going to, like, I'm worried that if I know too much, I'm not going to be able to curl as well.
I like that
and I'm right on the verge of not being able to curl well enough as it is.
Well, you got worse from week to week. You just shared.
I did get worse.
So this week in curling, in summary, worse. Okay.
And more confusing, which is generally things are going great.
We'll check back in next week for this for the Bodie Show segment, This Week in Curling with Steph. Okay. All right. Next up, you and I both have an old Bodie book.
We do.
All right. So my parents are moving from their house to a retirement community, and I'm grateful to them. They have been, like, in a very mature way, downsizing for like a couple of years now in preparation for this, so that nobody gets stuck with all the stuff and going through all the stuff. So thank you very much, Phil and Kate. I'm just grateful to you for many, many things, but most recently that you have not like left a whole pile of crap for me to deal with.
That is very grown up of them.
Yeah. And so one of the questions was, hey, do you want any of these books? And my parents had assembled a collection of like really cool boating books over many years. And in the mornings, I've been reading this book called Good Boats by Roger C. Taylor. And I like it because we talk a lot about hot boats. Why not talk about good boats? And so I'm gonna do selected reading from Good Boats. Let's hear it. I'm gonna read about the No Man's Land boat. Okay. No Man's Land has always fascinated me. What is it about a small, uninhabited island that makes you want to go and see it? We can identify with that. Yep. In the case of No Man's Land, one of its attractions to us boys, as we began to feel our oats and make short cruises along the coast to places we considered far from home, was that if you sailed around No Man's Land, you would have sailed in the Atlantic Ocean. We took our boats into what we called the ocean all the time, but always when we looked offshore, we knew that there was some island or other between us and Portugal. But if you sail out to No Man's Land and go around the island, then you would really be out in the Atlantic Ocean with no land at all outside you. That was something worth doing. So this is an island off of Martha's Vineyard, and it's an uninhabited island, or it was in 1977, next to Martha's Vineyard, and they sailed out of Menemsha Pond. Menemsha is the name of a great whaler model that you love very much. Right?
Amen, amen.
Yep. And it was named, I'm sure, because of that pond, or maybe another Menemsha in the area. So this book is like a write up and a bit of a meditation on a collection of boat designs that the author loved. And there's a boat called, let me see if I can find. So there's this island. The island has no cove, much less a harbor. The fishing was long line trawling, day trips. The fish had to be taken into market, and there was a certain amount of gear and supplies that had to be fetched and carried to the island. A distinctive, small, double-ended beach boat was developed to meet these particular requirements. The type is generally called the no man's land double-ender, though the boats also were used on Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and the south shore of Cape Cod. The type was in use as early as 1856. The boats were originally shoal draft keelcraft, but centerboards began to appear by 1886. At first, the double-enders were 17 or 18 feet long. In later years, some as long as 24 feet were built. The boats were built in some quantity at New Bedford, Fairhaven, and Providence, so along the New England coast, not the islands, as well as by their owners at home. Weight is critical in a beach boat, and the no man's land boats were lightly built. They were planked with cedar over oak frames and were nearly all lapstrake, though a few were carvel planked. They were copper fastened. An iron strap protected the bottom of the keel because you had to drag them over the beach. The boats carried a two-masted rig, nearly always with a sprit sail on each mast. We would probably call the rig a cat catch today, for there was no head sail, and the foresail was about twice as big as the mainsail. Okay. So it's a very utilitarian double-ender boat. It's got two masts, one way up front. That's why he said we might call it a cat catch today. So a cat boat has a sail way, way, way up front, almost at the bow, right? So this has that sail way, way up front. But then there's another mast and sail kind of like 2/3 of the way back from the bow, and you sit behind it when you're at the helm using the rudder. And this thing is just a working sailboat. And I like the description of why you want to sail around no man's land. But a little bit more about the boat. The accounts of these boats emphasize their weatherliness, so like how good they are in bad weather, rather than their speed. I don't think the chroniclers meant these double-enders were close-winded, which means like they can sail close to straight into the wind, for doubtless they would not be. What they meant, I believe, is that for a small boat, they were able to work to weather, so like go into the wind in a very strong breeze and rough sea. Moreover, there is no reason why this boat shouldn't have a good turn of speed off the wind, for she has a nice flat run. It's like the back of the boat, the bottom, sort of like runs out. The no man's land boats were often rowed long distances when the breeze failed, which is cool. So you could like throw some oars out and go. This boat could certainly be shoved along nicely in a calm with lengthy, well-balanced oars. I think this is just a cool boat. All right. And I'll send you some pictures because you haven't seen any pictures of it. But that is my reading from Good Boats, the No Man's Land boat.
I think that was very, very nice. It's nice to hear just someone's sort of ode to a boat.
Yeah. And this is a whole book of odes. And the intro, maybe I'll read from the intro next time. But this, like we've talked about how like we needed to send our kids to Amish camp to harden them up, right?
We have, yeah.
This guy grew up in a family where it was like Amish camp except for boating.
Okay, so would we mean like they were like outside, like working on boats all winter?
Yeah.
What is
here? So when I was 7 years old, my father taught me to sail. His method of instruction and the training vessel used were, to the best of my knowledge, unique. So he expected all of his children to sail their various craft among the coves of the Pawcatuck River, whether they were on the Rhode Island or the Connecticut shore of the stream. We were all just supposed to be born sailors. The spring I turned 7, I was told I would sail the Mahoskus that summer. Her captaincy, even to a boy of 7, seemed a dubious honor. 7 feet long and square-ended, she had no more than 24 inches extreme beam, so she was like 2 feet wide and 7 feet long. She'd been designed and built by my father as an experimental craft. Ultimately, his dad said, all right, you're sailing and you're sailing this, and you got to figure it out. And you also have to fix the thing up before you put it in. And so his father said, you're going to sail it and you have to scrape it and paint it and caulk the seams since it was a wooden boat. So each day of fair weather brought me a day closer to going sailing, and I still had no solution in mind for tacking the Mahoskus. The inside work went all too quickly. My father was a bit frugal with boat supplies, and being the youngest, I was last in line for inside paint, so painting the inside of the boat. When the remains of this and that had been stirred together and carefully mixed with just the right amount of turpentine and linseed oil, the coffee can held a pink sauce. I had thought that my barometer had sunk as low as it could go, but as soon as I saw the pink paint, I realized that despair could go deeper. Right. So yeah, it's just a cool book. Cool odes. All right. Do you have a reading from an old Bodhi book?
I do. This is the book that I have brought to our podcast today, which I showed you already. It's called
Pleasure Boating.
Pleasure Boating,
Pleasure Boating.
which I think is a fabulous title. It is actually I bought a stack of books from a friend who had a vintage market, and this was in it. And this thing fills me with joy. As I said to you earlier, it is the most beautiful book I've ever seen. The illustrations, the line drawings, and the paintings are absolutely incredible,
So
awe-inspiring. I could look at it all day.
You've picked out a visually significant book for a audio show.
Exactly. Everyone is just going to have to take my word for the fact that this is a very beautiful book. And I also would say that you and I were chatting as we were setting up, and we picked something for me to read, but now I've lost it. But it doesn't matter because all the readings in this book sound the same.
They do
so,
to you,
at least to me. So I'm just going to read here on under propellers. Page 116, and this is A1 out of many sections. Are you ready?
Yes, go.
Twist in a propeller blade 1 can be compared to twist in a sail 2, where the direction of the apparent wind A can be likened to the apparent angle of entrance of the water B when the propeller is moving forward. So I just want to say that if Jay needed any song lyrics, now he's all set.
Oh yeah.
This whole book, I'm pretty sure, is just lyrics because I can't extract any meaning from it, but I love it all so much.
All right. We also in the show before the show, we discussed a request from a listener to create Bodhi show sleep stories. I don't use sleep stories. Do you know about sleep stories?
I'm going to go ahead and say that many people listening might not have any idea what that is. So could you please elaborate?
So apparently on YouTube and even maybe on some of the like streaming services, but definitely in meditation apps and there's an app called Calm, right? And it's full of sleep stories. And so somebody will just read like a story in a nice voice, and the story is not all that engaging. It's not necessarily about anything, and it's just like a nice voice for you to go to sleep to. And so we discussed Bodhi show sleep stories. So we might try and create a special bonus episode or two of Steph reading from
this is followed by like literally like tiny font, 14 pages of like top to bottom explanation about propellers. And I would love to read this for sleep stories. I think it would be very effective. I really cannot imagine
that's going to happen.
Anything except sleep.
Next time we're in the same place and we can record you on a microphone and not over the devices, we'll do a sleep story.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All right. Next up, this week in Bodhi history.
Oh, tell me more.
So you can choose from 3 topics for me to read.
This is interactive.
We're going to pick one. Ready?
Okay.
1935, first canned beer goes on sale. 1888, National Geographic Society is officially founded. Or 2018, family finds oldest 2018, family finds oldest message in a bottle ever discovered. Which would you like to learn more about?
Should it be obvious to me how these are Bodhi?
No, but I'll get there.
Okay. Can you please do real quick run through those again? I've got the message in the bottle.
First canned beer, National Geographic Society founded, oldest message in a bottle ever discovered.
I've got to go with oldest message in the bottle.
That was the right choice. So on January 21st, 2018, the Illman family was visiting a beach near Wedge Island off the coast of Australia when they found an old-looking brown bottle that held a fragile rolled-up piece of paper. The family brought the item home, and with the help of officials, I like that's just like, you got to go get some officials. Like,
that is vague yet comforting.
Right? It's not like, with the help of like the curator of the museum, blah, blah. It's like, no, get some officials. Maybe it was the ICE committee. I don't know. They determined the message was dated June 12th, 1886, making it over 131 years old. The oldest message in a bottle ever found.
Unbelievable.
The family contacted the Western Australia Museum's assistant curator of maritime archaeology, Ross Anderson. I guess he's the official. He determined the message was thrown from the Paula, a German sailing ship, while it was sailing from Wales to Indonesia. So Wales in the British Isles to Indonesia, like, geez, across the Pacific.
Yeah.
So they must have gone around the Cape, like the Horn of Africa. Yep. The sailors were conducting an ocean current experiment at the time, and they were dropping thousands of bottles with messages overboard along their route. The messages communicated the then current ship coordinates, the time and date of the message drop, and the ship name. The Illman's bottle had traveled almost 600 miles to the location where they uncovered it. Over 600 other messages from the same experiment have been recovered, but the Illman's bottle is the oldest of them all.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing.
How is that Bodhi? Dude, that's like...
It's very Bodhi.
So Bodhi.
How come we don't make messages in the bottle all the time?
I remember doing it as a kid, and there was some discussion in my family as to whether or not that was littering.
Do you think it is?
I think all you got to do is put a message in your trash, and now it's not.
We found a message in a bottle when I was a teenager.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it from
accident.
Was it from like some boy upstream trying to like get your number?
No, it was mysterious. And all I remember is that it ended with lucky ? Yes, you are. Period.
You don't remember what came before that, but that's what you...
I don't, but I would have to confer with my own life historian, Julianne Bauer, and
she's the historian of your life.
She remembers.
She remembers all the shit that you forgot. So you keep her.
It's true. Without her, I would have no idea what's happened to me in the past. She remembers everything, and I remember nothing.
Do you have other supporting roles in your life?
I haven't thought about it, but
no, you should. You need somebody who like walks around behind you and plays like your like soundtrack
theme song.
Yeah, your theme song.
Yeah, that'd be great. I never thought, but I will tell you for sure, Julie will be able to fill in the rest of that message in a bottle, I bet. So next week, there will be more on that.
All right.
After we found that message in a bottle, then on Occident, as you know, we were a little starved for interaction as it was.
This was the big deal. This was like
the internet in 1984.
You didn't have internet, phone, nothing.
No, I mean, we were stoked, and then we were like, "Oh, let's make some messages," and then we made a bunch of messages in the bottles and threw them somewhere, and that was that. But I do think there is something sort of just inherently lovely and romantic about it that everyone should throw messages in bottles around.
My winter resolution, because we have summer resolutions and winter resolution.
Yeah.
My winter resolution is to float some messages in bottles down the river.
Let's do it.
And
I mean, I do appreciate the story that you just read too, because it was both. It wasn't just being like, "Hey, I exist. Do you?" Which is, I feel like that's the subtext of most messages in the bottles, right? But like this one was very scientific. It was like, I'm trying to find out about the world by figuring out where I'm starting, where I'm finishing, and yada yada yada, right? That which is also interesting. But
putting all of these, like, basically, my read of it is that this crew, they would drop a bottle, record, basically the bottle contained the information of where it was dropped, right?
Where it started, right.
And so then wherever it ended up, they would understand more about the current that carried it from where it started to where it finished.
Yeah, that's also a very cool way to use the message in the bottle system.
What would our experiment be? Like, let's say we sort of like took Rock Island as our base of operations for messages in bottle, and we put them in the river. They would go downstream. They would float, under the bridge, ideally toward Alexandria Bay. Mm-hmm. Perhaps they would make it into various coves and people's boathouses, and ultimately, like, they could potentially float all the way like through dams and locks and to like Montreal and beyond.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You'd probably, like, to play the odds, you'd probably have to dump a lot of message bottles in the river to get one to like make it to the Gulf of St. Lawrence and out into the ocean from the river.
Well, we'll have to sort of simmer on the purpose if there's one.
Right. That might approach like littering.
But
I have one
that was-
purpose. It would be to send Patrick a message via message in a bottle because he's downstream.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Think about it.
Yeah. Yep.
What would my message to Patrick would probably be, dude, you should totally buy a Bertram Baron 28.
Buy another boat. I love it.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the history, Jeff. That was very nice.
You're welcome, Steph. This week in Bodhi history, that was January 21st, 2018. Okie dokie. We're closing in on the end of the show. I think that's like the show. Gonna plug what?
Nothing. I'm just gonna say, well, that was fun.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to bring up the one topic which we didn't cover that I skipped.
What is it?
No, that's not skipping it.
You skipped it on purpose.
I mentioned it in the show before the show, but then we're not going. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Just going to leave it a mystery. Okay. Polar Bear Dip, February 22nd.
Yes. Alexandria
Bay, New York, at the Bonnie Castle. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time.
Listeners, if you're curious about the Thousand Islands in the St. Lawrence, you should look up Bonnie Castle Resort. You should reserve a room, perhaps in the Florida room.
Yes.
The Bonnie Castle is this magnificent, like frozen in time, but also wonderfully updated by loving new owners. It has a tropical themed wing. Would you call it the Florida room?
It used to be called the Florida room. I think now they call it the Summerland room or something, but it's basically it's like a whole like level that's kind of down into the rocks, and it looks out over this vista. It's all windows looking over the Thousand Islands, Bull Castle, yada yada, and it has a tiki theme.
There's a big pool. There's a big pool, and all the rooms have like a veranda in front of them with a swing.
Correct. So it has a pool and a hot tub. And then the rooms they're in like overlooking the pool, if you will, have little front porches and porch swings on them, which is amazing. And because it was built in the 70s, there's like these sort of vestigial 70s moments, like mirrors on the ceilings, which are surprising and difficult to like explain to your 10-year-old when you're staying there.
Because you used to, in the depths of winter, when you you tried real hard you tried to Nordic so hard. But you weren't getting there.
Yeah, so we would go stay at the Bonnie Castle.
You go stay at the Bonnie Castle in the Florida room.
In the Florida room, and it really feels like a real getaway. I'll tell you that.
Mommy, why are there mirrors on the ceiling? What was your explanation? What was it? Come on.
I can't remember. I'd have to ask Julie.
If she knows what your answer to why there are mirrors on the ceiling is, I will be so impressed.
And then each room also has its own little bar inside the room, and it has like whirlpool jet tubs in the bathroom. So I just want everyone to know that like we're not just like promoting this place that we think is cool because it's nearby. It's really cool.
It is really, really cool, and
Check it out.
The outdoor, the bar next to, I've gushed about this in the past. It's like my favorite place to go. Consistently excellent service and like great pub food. But the bar, it used to be called Rum Runners. Now it's called The Point. I want to somehow have it renamed Rum Runners and bring the sign back, which is a giant anchor that used to be outlined in neon. But the bar the back is the Frontenac arch. It's granite, like weeping granite. There's like little plants that grow out of it next to the vodka bottles, and with like basically a marina for you to pull into outside and tie up, and then like you can hang out on the dock. That's not what you're going to be doing February 22nd. You're going to be bundled up and enjoying that bar, but also enjoying the chainsawed hole in the ice and people jumping in to raise money for River Hospital. So February 22nd, you should come. If you can't come, look up the riverhospital.org events and pick a team or an individual to donate, a little bit of money to, $5, $10, whatever. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. Yeah.
Here we go.
I think that's our show.
Yo ho ho, that's it for the Bodie Show. Pack a cooler, grab the lines, let's go, go, go. Yo ho 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 ho.
That's it for the Bodie Show.
That's it for the Bodie Show.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week. We're out.